Have you ever had the impression that you are someone's backup plan and never their first priority? That sensation when it looks like everyone else is more important to them than you are, leaving you to question if they really care about you at all. We are going to take this on head-on today. It's about learning the delicate skill of being appealing and turning into someone others naturally prioritize and adore, not simply about feeling appreciated. We're talking about bringing out the amazing person you already are, not about altering who you are. This video will completely transform your experience if you've ever felt unnoticed or devalued. You'll have a whole different understanding of how to be respected, acknowledged, and seen in every connection by the time our adventure ends today. Learning to be mysterious is the first step towards being someone people will remember. By mystery, however, we do not mean to be evasive or to hide our true selves. It's about coming out as yourself little by little, like a novel that reveals itself one chapter at a time. This strategy piques people's attention and keeps them wanting to know more about you. Consider this. There's less to learn later on when a new acquaintance tells you everything about them at first. However, if they gradually share their ideas, dreams, and tales, every encounter turns into a chance to discover something fascinating and novel about them. This methodical learning process is what sustains our interest. The Stoic philosophers recognized the value of moderation. For example, Marcus Aurelius promoted temperance as a virtue, not disclosing everything at once, but rather expressing ideas and insights wisely and at the opportune occasions. This doesn't imply that you're concealing who you really are. Rather, it means that you're allowing others the opportunity to gradually learn about and appreciate the complexity of your personality. It was declared by the Stoic philosopher Seneca that true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. This also applies to how we disclose ourselves to other people. Savor the current exchanges without feeling compelled to spill the beans on your innermost secrets, previous experiences, or future goals. Allow them to emerge organically as your interactions develop. Being purposefully elusive or fabricating a persona are not aspects of the art of mystery. It all comes down to realizing how important your life narrative is and how sharing it should be done thoughtfully. You weave the layers of your views, experiences, and character like a master storyteller, enticing others to want to learn more and get involved in your tale. This kind of communication generates a magnetic attraction because people are attracted to intriguing individuals and those who leave some room for interpretation. Similar to the excitement of finishing a fantastic book, you can't wait to flip the page and discover what comes next. You may become that engrossing novel that has readers eagerly anticipating each new chapter by honing the art of mystery. Showing your worth is the second guideline to taking on a priority role in other people's life. This is about demonstrating that you are special and significant, just like everyone else, and that your presence in someone's life is something remarkable, not about bragging or trying to be someone you're not. Consider this. We often take things that are readily accessible for granted, but we cherish things that are uncommon and difficult to attain more. The purpose of this rule is to demonstrate your similarity to that priceless, uncommon gem. It entails leading a life that demonstrates your regard and appreciation for who you are. When you act in this way, others will begin to recognize and appreciate you as well. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius reportedly observed, "You have control over your mind, not outside events." When you acknowledge this, you'll discover resilience. This entails concentrating on the things you can manage, such as your thoughts, behaviors, and assets. Being confident in your own value and not needing approval from others makes you more attractive by default. Seneca also imparted to us the importance of time and how it represents our value as individuals. He said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." You may demonstrate that you value your time by refusing to spend it on individuals who don't care about you. That doesn't mean you have to be haughty or contemptuous. Rather, have long conversations with people who appreciate and value your time and effort. Furthermore, the great Stoic Epictetus stressed the value of independence. We cannot control the environment, but we can control our emotions. This refers to obtaining validation or acceptance inside oneself rather than looking to others for it in a relationship. People are more inclined to think highly of you if you are independent and self-assured. This guideline is really about living a confident, dignified, and self-respecting life. It's about being aware of your value and not being scared to express it in a modest but assertive manner. Others appreciate and pay attention to you when you treat yourself with dignity, establish sound boundaries, and tenaciously pursue your own objectives. They see you as valuable and deserving of investment, not merely as another individual. This is the way you begin to take precedence in their life. Discovering and generating your own pleasure is the third guideline for taking on a greater role in the lives of others. This is a basic guideline because people find you more appealing when you are content with who you are. This is about discovering what really makes you happy and pursuing it, not about acting happy. Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius taught that contentment originates inside. He said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This implies that your happiness comes from your own ideas and outlook on life, not from the opinions of others. You radiate a confidence and satisfaction that pulls others in when you think positively and find joy in your own accomplishments and deeds. Seneca also underlined the significance of being satisfied with oneself. He believed that genuine pleasure is produced by oneself and is not dependent on other people. He said that true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Put into practical terms, this means savoring each moment of life and being grateful for its blessings. Consider what you can control rather than looking on other people to make you happy all the time. Another Stoic philosopher, Epictetus, discussed the significance of concentrating on what we can control. He said, "Seek not the good in external things, seek it in yourselves." This serves as a potent reminder that you shouldn't let other people's behavior or beliefs determine how happy you are. It needs to be determined by your own ideals, hobbies, and self-care. As an alternative, this rule's practical applications include taking care of your physical and emotional well-being, spending time with positive people, and pursuing your favorite pastimes and interests. You don't seek to other people to fill a vacuum when you're content with who you are and your life. Rather, you give them your whole, content self. People find you very beautiful and want to be a part of your life. Knowing your value and letting others devote their time and energy to you is the fourth guideline of being a priority in other people's life. This guideline is about realizing that you are worth something that takes work and effort to attain, much like a rare and special gem. The Stoic philosopher's teachings are consistent with this idea. For example, the famous Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "No great thing is created suddenly." It also holds true for relationships. Excellent relationships take time, effort, and mutual commitment to develop. People begin to respect you more when you give them their time and attention because they can see how valuable you are and the positive impact you have on their life. Marcus Aurelius also stressed the significance of one's own value. He espoused the virtues of inner strength and self-respect, contending that an individual's sense of self has a powerful influence on how others see and regard them. "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself," said Aurelius. People are more inclined to appreciate and acknowledge you when you exude confidence in your own value. This guideline is also consistent with Seneca's ideas. He espoused the virtues of self-satisfaction and the need of putting one's own needs first. He said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This implies that it's usually unjustified to worry that others won't recognize your worth. People will begin to recognize and cherish you more when you put your attention on being useful to you. In reality, this guideline requires living a life that represents your value. Take care of your physical, emotional, and mental health, as well as your knowledge and skills by participating in activities that advance them. Create a life you are proud of and that you would want to share with others. Always keep in mind that when someone puts in time and effort into you, it fosters a stronger bond and increases the significance of your relationship. They start to see you as more than simply another person in their life, rather as someone important and unique. In summary, realizing your value, working on yourself, and fostering meaningful connections based on respect and cooperation are all important components of being useful and letting people invest in you. By using this technique, you become important in other people's life because they really respect and appreciate you, not because you demand it. Focusing on enjoying life to the fullest is the sixth guideline for making people feel important. This entails valuing your individuality and following your passions and objectives, instead than depending on other people to make you happy or give you a sense of direction in life. It's about building a satisfying life for yourself. Marcus Aurelius, a great Stoic emperor, reportedly stated, "He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe." The core of this guideline is well captured in this phrase. Living in harmony with yourself entails identifying and following your own aspirations, interests, and objectives. It goes without saying that being happy and contented in your own life makes you more appealing to other people. They are drawn to you because they see you as someone who is whole and self-sufficient. Another Stoic philosopher who emphasized the value of self-satisfaction was Seneca. He thought that connections with other people shouldn't be the only factor in determining our pleasure. Seneca said, "Love yourself if you want to be loved." This implies that you should first establish love and fulfillment inside yourself before looking for affection and approval from other people. You become someone who innately draws attention rather than someone who actively seeks it out by doing this. Epictetus stressed the need of concentrating on the things we can control, such as our deeds, goals, and reactions to life's obstacles. He said, "We are disturbed not by what happens to us, but by our thoughts about what happens." This implies that when it comes to enjoying your own life, you shouldn't let other people's opinions or treatment of you determine how happy you are. Instead, concentrate on creating a happy and fulfilling life for yourself. Living your own life practically means doing the things you enjoy, whether it's taking up a hobby, developing a profession, or spending time with supportive friends and family. It's about establishing and pursuing individual objectives. People naturally want to be a part of your rich and satisfying life when you lead one. Instead of seeing you as someone who is always in need of encouragement or approval, they see you as someone who adds worth and delight. To put it simply, being independent and finding fulfillment in your own pursuits and accomplishments are key components of living your own life. It all comes down to contentment with who you are and what you own, which enhances your attraction to other people. People naturally want to focus and involve you in their lives when you have a satisfying life on your own. Setting your own needs first is the sixth guideline of making oneself a priority in other people's lives. The significance of self-care and self-respect is emphasized by this rule. It's about realizing that looking after oneself is not selfish. Rather, it's essential. You convey a feeling of confidence and value that others find appealing and are attracted to when you respect and take care of your own needs. Renowned Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius spoke on the virtues of inner strength and restraint. "You have power over your mind, not over external events," he said. "When you acknowledge this, you'll discover resilience." This strong declaration emphasizes how crucial it is to put your demands and needs first. It reminds us that although we can't control how others treat us, we can control how we treat ourselves. Another Stoic philosopher who highlighted the value of independence and self-sufficiency was Seneca. He believed that we shouldn't depend too much on other people to make us feel worthy or pleased. Rather, our pleasure should originate from inside. He advocated for having a balanced and peaceful existence by teaching us to discover contentment within ourselves. Epictetus also offered insightful commentary on this subject. He thought it was important to concentrate on the things we can control, such as our reactions and our actions. He said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." When it comes to putting your needs first, this involves assuming accountability for your own happiness and well-being instead than relying on other people to meet those responsibilities. Setting limits in your relationships and making sure that you are not always placing the needs of others before your own are practical ways to prioritize your own needs. It entails scheduling personal time for hobbies, leisure, or personal development. It all comes down to making decisions that support your own well-being, even if that means sometimes saying no to other people. In conclusion, putting your needs first means realizing and appreciating your own value. It's about looking after your bodily and mental needs. By doing this, you not only design a life that fulfills you personally, but also enhances your attractiveness and respectability in the eyes of others. You may inspire people to esteem you by demonstrating your own worth. Respecting other people's time and presence is the seventh guideline for making yourself a priority in their life. This entails realizing how valuable your time and attention are and that you shouldn't waste them. It's about demonstrating that you have a life of your own, complete with hobbies and obligations, and that your time and attention are precious gifts that you choose to give. The famous Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius stressed the need of appreciating one's own time. He said, "Do not act as if you had 1,000 years to live." This serves as a helpful reminder that time is precious and finite, so we should make the most of it. You convey that your presence is valuable and should not be taken for granted when you choose carefully how and with whom you spend your time. Seneca also mentioned how valuable time is. "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it," he famously said. This serves to further emphasize the need of using time management skills. Being unavailable sometimes demonstrates your value for your own time, which encourages others to do the same. Another Stoic philosopher who supported the idea of concentrating on what we can control was Epictetus. He suggested that we devote our time to activities that enhance and elevate our quality of life, When it comes to respecting and appreciating your time, this entails doing important things for yourself and only spending it with others that share your values. Respecting your time practically entails declining invitations and requests whenever possible. It's about setting your own priorities and timetable and choosing wisely how to spend your time. It entails striking a balance between your requirements and those of others so that you are not always pushed to the bottom of your own list. In conclusion, appreciating your presence and time involves understanding your own value and demonstrating it in the way you handle your schedule. It's about making time for yourself and your own interests, but still making sure you're there when it matters most. By using this method, you become more valued and sought after, elevating your status in the eyes of others. The balance in striking up a conversation is the subject of Rule 8 on how to become important in other people's lives. This guideline is about not being the one to start up discussions or make arrangements all the time. Allowing others to take the lead sometimes demonstrates your respect for their time and interests, while also giving them a chance to express their own worth and interest in you. The astute Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing." This remark is pertinent since it implies that relationships and life in general involve work, flexibility, and not always taking the lead. This sometimes entails stepping aside in conversation to provide room for the other person to speak. It's about striking a balance so that each person gives the relationship their fair share of contributions. This guideline is also consistent with Seneca's ideas. He was a strong proponent of independence and the idea that happiness shouldn't be solely dependent on other people. You may demonstrate that your self-worth and pleasure are not entirely reliant on the other person by not being the one to make the first move in communication. By doing this, you also offer them an opportunity to express how much they appreciate having you in their life and how much they miss you. Epictetus discussed the need of exercising control and self-discipline in our behavior. He said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." When this is applied to our rule, it emphasizes the value of listening and creating space during conversations rather than constantly interrupting others with words or actions. Achieving equilibrium between speaking and listening, starting and waiting is crucial. In real life, this means paying attention to how frequently you initiate contact. While making touch is acceptable, allow the other person an opportunity to make contact as well. This is about establishing a positive dynamic where both people feel equally committed in the relationship. It's not about playing games or keeping score. To sum up, striking a balance when it comes to striking up a conversation involves honoring your own time and allowing others the room to express their interest and commitment in you. It's a means of making sure that both people gain from the relationship and are equally invested in it. Maintaining this balance helps you both become more important in each other's life and makes your relationship more rewarding. Keeping your emotional attachments in check is the 9th rule for making others a priority. This guideline promotes a positive and healthy way of emotionally investing in relationships. It's about controlling our emotions so that they don't take total control over how we connect with others, and instead help to foster mutual respect and self-respect in partnerships. The wise Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius stressed the need of emotional control and reasoned thought. He concluded, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." When it comes to maintaining emotional equilibrium, this entails behaving calmly and analytically rather than impulsively or passionately. This strategy aids in preventing over-emotional overload and premature attachment in relationships. Another Stoic philosopher who highlighted the need of emotional regulation was Seneca. He said, "He suffers more than necessary who suffers before it is necessary." This quotation emphasizes the need to avoid allowing nervousness or rash emotional reactions control how we behave in interpersonal situations. This entails allowing children to evolve organically without putting undue emotional pressure on them up front. Epictetus also emphasized on the need of managing our reactions. He said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When it comes to emotional balance, this means that while we have no influence over how other people act in a relationship, we do have power over how much emotional impact we let it have on ourselves. It's important to keep a healthy emotional distance from each other while you assess the level of respect and involvement in the relationship. This doesn't mean being cold or aloof. Practically speaking, this means that you should be aware of how fast and deeply you become emotionally attached to someone. It all comes down to giving the relationship the space and time it needs to grow at a healthy rate. This strategy not only shields you from any emotional pain, but also increases your attractiveness, by demonstrating your appreciation for the emotional depth of your relationships and for yourself. Having the guts to leave relationships or circumstances that don't respect or appreciate you is the 10th and last guideline. This guideline is about appreciating your value and not being scared to leave a relationship that doesn't work for you. It's a powerful declaration of self-respect and a crucial step in making sure that other people value you. Respected Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius highlighted the need of inner fortitude and self-respect. He said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This remark is very pertinent to our guideline, since it implies that having the courage to leave a bad circumstance comes from inside. Seneca also discussed the need of having confidence in oneself and the significance of never settling for less than one deserves. He said, "As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters." This implies that when it comes to relationships, the quality of your relationships matters more than just having someone in your life to keep you from feeling alone. Another Stoic philosopher who supported individual responsibility and freedom of choice was Epictetus. It was his advice that only the educated are free. One example of this freedom is the choice to walk away from an environment that does not seem respectful or helpful to you. In this view, education entails realizing your worth and the fact that you merit respect and wholesome relationships. In real life, it entails establishing and maintaining boundaries in your relationships in order to be ready to walk away. It entails being able to tell when a relationship is disrespectful or one-sided and having the self-respect to end it rather than hanging around and taking less than you deserve. To sum up, knowing and expressing your worth is the foundation of being ready to let go. It's about having the courage to walk away from circumstances that don't show you the decency and regard you deserve. This guideline is important because it shows you are someone who needs to be respected and given priority, both to other people and to yourself. As our voyage draws to a close, keep in mind that your value is determined by how gracefully and strong you defend your principles and treat yourself, not by the opinions of others. You are an amazing jigsaw puzzle made up of knowledge, aspirations, and experiences. Remember that always. Accept these 10 principles as affirmations of the amazing person you already are, not merely as instructions. Every action you do to appreciate yourself teaches others how to value you equally.